So I made this hidden bookcase and it turned out better than I thought it would. So I thought I'd make a YouTube video. The one unique thing about this bookcase is that it was entirely free, or it didn't cost me anything. There's a lot of videos on YouTube I noticed, and so this one I'll probably rate it like a B minus or a C plus. It's not perfect, but you know what? Hey, it looks good enough for me, and it fits in my workroom, and plus, I've got a lot of books in my workroom, and so I've even resorted to using the top of my bookshelves, as you can see up there, so it goes literally from floor to ceiling. And so I was thinking, well, shoot, before I run out of space at the tops of my other bookshelves, like there, there's my dog, and there, maybe I can build some sort of bookcase. And then there used to be like this cheap plastic accordion door in this opening, and it's just a space under the stairwell. You'll see it in a second. I figure, why don't I take a swipe at making a hidden bookcase, especially since I'm going to be using scrap, just junk parts laying around the house anyway. I'm sort of a pack rat. Like to think I'm a do-it-yourselfer, but a lot of better people out there, as I've seen on YouTube. But anyway, I figured it'd be nice to have a place to put non-book things in a bookshelf. And so this really worked out well. Let's see. So real quick rundown of the inventory of parts. I used a king-size bed frame with a headboard and the board at the end. That's where most of the wood came from. I had 2 scrap boards laying around, so that was 2 of the shelves. Let's see, there was an armoire that somebody was throwing away, so I used part of one of the doors of the armoire. It didn't quite cover the back of the bookcase. As you can see, it leaves like this line. See that line? Actually, I had to patch the back of the bookcase with 3 pieces of wood. You'll see that in a minute when I open it up. Let's see, what else? Oh, the hinges. I'm real proud of the hinges. So on YouTube, I was seeing people were using these invisible hinges or disappearing hinges or whatever for hidden bookcases, and somebody was throwing away a set of kitchen cabinets, and pack rat that I am, I couldn't resist just taking the hinges off of it. And the problem is, of course, they're not nearly strong enough to support the weight of a bookcase, so I have casters, these casters that also I happen to have laying around. So that didn't cost me anything. The white paint was from a couple cans of white paint that the previous homeowner just left at the house, so that was handy. What else? The hinges, the nails and screws. I just have all that junk laying around. So anyway, it turned out pretty well. You can see it's not perfect. If you look for it, you can tell it's, there's some gaps. But it closes real well, slides open. Let's go ahead and open it up. There's no door latch or locking mechanism because it stays put with its own weight and friction. So you just grab it here. Yeah, you can see this is part of the bed frame that I recycled. But anyway, each of these boards also was a little bit of a pain. I don't know if you can tell, but because of the angle that's required to clear the door, the frame, you have to cut these. This edge and that edge the edges are not parallel, so you have to cut them at a little bit of an angle. And you can kind of, if you look for it, you can tell. But just because of the perspective, it's hard to tell that the bookshelves are angled even. So anyway, let's go ahead and open this up. Slides open pretty easily. Oh, again, and they're on these casters. So let me get down here. So that's what's supporting the weight of the bookshelf. And then to hide the casters, I tried to put this. This is the frame from the king size mattress frame, and so tried to make that as flush to the floor as possible without scraping it. Let's see what else. Sloppy painting. Yeah, this is from the king size bed. Oh, this is where I patched the back of the bookshelf together. So you can see that's the armoire piece, one big long one. And then I only had one piece. So then I looked in my shed and I had these other scrap pieces. So I had 2 more scrap pieces that I could put together. You can tell here it's beveled right here. So that's from the armoire. So I just flipped it around so the flat side would show as the back of the bookcase. Anyway, let's look at the hinges. The hinges I'm pretty psyched about. So These are the kitchen cabinet hinges, and because when they're closed, they close to a 90-degree L shape. Okay, I'm not going to close it all the way. And so I needed to figure out a way to attach it to my bookcase. So that's why I put this wooden border on the front of the bookcase. That way it would create this 90-degree angle. And then I reinforced it with these little steel bracket things that I had. You know, I just keep this kind of junk laying around. You never know when you're going to need it, like now. And so I'm real psyched about how the hinges worked out. So 1, 2, 3. So there's 4 of them, but they're not, you know, supporting the weight of the bookcase anyway. As I mentioned, it's those casters. So that's my bookcase. Let me get myself out of here. And it closes pretty snugly. It's not, you know, it's not like scraping into anything, but you can even hear that it closes fits pretty good. And that's my bookcase. So I hope if you watch this video, you maybe got some tips or something helpful, or just enjoyed looking at how I was able to make this without spending any money.